shakers out because it's time to sip and sing. Cheers! Yes! It's happening. It's Friday. It's 5 o'clock. I'm so happy to see all of you. Welcome back to Sip and Sing. We are going to sip and we are going to sing. I hate to break it to you, but we are getting to both of those activities today. Happy post-Thanksgiving. I am finally out of my post-Thanksgiving coma. I hope you are as well. If you're joining us here in the Zoom, thank you. If you're catching the live stream via our broadcast partners, iHeart Radio Broadway.com, thank you for streaming it that way. It's so easy. So you have your choice. And of course, our loyal sponsors who are going to see us through to the end of the season, all the way to our holiday extravaganza on December 16th, which some of our loyal viewers have seen that before. We're going to do it all over again. Of course, we're talking about our wonderful friends at AARP Long Island. Thank you, as always, for being such loyal supporters. So be sure to go to that website. I mean, I say it all the time, but there really is great stuff that they lead you to. And, you know, we're in the holiday season. It's now upon us, and they've got a lot of great holiday activities, even lots of ones at home like this one. So if you don't feel like going out because it is cold and dark, it's already pitch black outside, they have lots of virtual stuff there too. So AARP Long Island, don't forget about that. We have a lot of great music for you today, or rather, I should say, I have a lot of great music for you today because my technical director is on assignment out of town today, so I am running the entire show by myself. I do have my loyal dog Rufus here, who is much less of a help than I was expecting, but we're going to try to do it all by ourselves today. I'm here in the Sip and Sing studios. We, of course, have our wonderful team from Milojo and Bay Street. We are all triangulating so to be able to bring you this broadcast, and we're going to do it. So let's get to our first song. I wanted to bring back something that I was so excited to sing with you all today. I wanted to have something traditional and classic and fun and wordy. And this is Cole Porter. This is Anything Goes. You can catch the latest video capture of the London production of Anything Goes starring Sutton Foster on PBS. If you have the PBS app, you can even stream it on demand. So I urge you to go do that. But in the meantime, this is Anything Goes from Anything Goes. Let's see how this goes. Times have changed, and we've often rewound the clock since the Puritans got a shock when they landed on Plymouth Rock. If today any shock they should try to stem, stand up landing on Plymouth Rock would land on them. In olden days, a glimpse of stocking was looked on as something shocking, but now God knows anything goes. Good authors too, who once knew better words, now only use four-letter words, writing prose. Anything goes. The world has gone mad today, and good's bad today, and black's white today, and day's night today, when most guys today, the women prize today, are just silly gigolos. And though I'm not a great romancer, I know that you're bound to answer when I propose. Anything goes. Grandmama, whose age is 80, in nightclubs is getting matey with gigolos. He uses that rhyme twice. Okay, anything goes. I see what you're doing there, Cole Porter. When mothers pack and leave poor father because they decide they'd rather be tennis pros. Anything goes. If driving fast cars you like, if low bars you like, if bare limbs you like, if Mae West you like, or me undressed you like, or Mae West you like, why nobody will oppose. And though I'm not a great romancer, I know that you're bound to answer when I propose. Anything goes. We do have an in-studio audience. Thank Thank you so much for singing. It's like he was such a genius, Cole Porter. Like I get into these rhymes and then I see new things. So let me tell you what I saw this time that was new. This line, good authors too, who once knew better words, now only use four-letter words writing prose. What he means is they only use four-letter words writing prose, right? Prose. But he's also kind of sarcastically calling them writing prose. Am I right? I mean, I just discovered that. What a genius. The genius of Cole Porter. I mean, those double entendres, it kind of gets me every time.
Great work, Kyle, so far.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Is someone
Trolling
from chiming in from the West Coast?
It's okay. I'm going to let you go. I'm going back on mute.
Wow. What's amazing is that we have a technical director who's on vacation, yet somehow finds time to call in and troll us all. Isn't that lovely, folks? No, really. Albert, thank you for setting all this up so nicely so that we can all just kind of keep on rolling along.
Doesn't seem like you need me anymore. My gosh, you're really killing it.
I mean, do you promise? No, I'm kidding. So what I wanted to tell you was that you need to look up this viral video. This is the viral video of the week. And it happened at the Broadway production of The Music Man. We are now in the holiday season. This is when all of the Broadway shows and many of the touring shows across the country, many regional shows too, will do a collection after the show for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. It's a charity that donates the money they collect to all sorts of different charities, cancer charities and the Actors Fund and all sorts of amazing things. So twice a year, the actors will stand up there after the curtain call and ask you to donate $1, whatever you can. And so Hugh Jackman has been doing this. He is known for always being involved in this charity collection process whenever he's on Broadway. And so what he's been doing is he auctions off at the end of Music Man. He does kind of a little tap encore number. It's really fantastic. And he wears like a little bowler hat. And he's been auctioning off this hat every night. And he gets a good amount of money because people want that hat that Hugh Jackman was sweating in. So there's a video, you've got to find it online. He's auctioning off his hat. He's like, he's hearing $100, $200. And you hear this voice from the back of the Winter Garden Theater, $100,000. And this woman struts down the aisle, dressed to the nines. It's Nicole Kidman, his old friend who was in the audience that night. No one knew. And she raised her hand and she donated $100,000 on the spot to that charity and took that hat. It's so great. And they have this wonderful back and forth. They're old friends from back in the day, I think in Australia. And no, I'm not going to do an Australian accent for you, but I do encourage you to go look up this video because it's just wonderful. Doesn't Hugh Jackman seem like the greatest? And he really does. So I've been thinking about that video. So let's do a number from The Music Man. This is 76 trombones. I'm going to do some of the intro. It's kind of like, it's like Harold Hill's like rap section. So if you don't feel like, if you're not up to the rap, don't do it. I'm not up to the rap, but I'm going to give it a shot. I think it's time for us all to take a sip. And then we're going to get into this. This is 76 trombones. May I have your attention, please? Attention, please. I can deal with this trouble, friends, with a wave of my hand, this very hand. Please observe me, if you will. I'm Professor Harold Hill, and I'm here to organize a River City Boys band. Oh, think, my friends, how can any pool table ever hope to compete with a gold trombone? Hurrah, rah, hurrah, da, 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 rah, rah. Remember, my friends, what a handful of trumpet players did to the famous fabled walls of Jericho? Oh, billion-pound walls come a-tumbling down. Oh, a band will do it, my friends. I mean a boys band. Did you hear me? I say River City's got to have a boys band, and I mean she needs it today. But Professor Harold Hill's on hand. River City's going to have a boys band. As sure as the Lord made little green apples, and that band's going to be in uniform. Whew, we made it through. Okay. Gather your sips. Here's the chorus. 76 trombones led the big parade with 110 cornets close at hand. They were followed by rows and rows of the finest virtuosos, the cream of every famous band. 76 trombones caught the morning sun with 110 cornets right behind. There were more than 1,000 reeds springing up like weeds. There were horns of every shape and kind. There were copper-bottomed timpanis and horse platoons, thundering all along the way. Double bell euphoniums and big bassoons, each bassoon having his big fat say. There were 50 mounted cannon in the battery, thundering louder than before. Clarinets of every size and trumpeters who'd improvise a whole octave higher than the score. Little sip break for you. You know, they've got all that. If you see a production of Music Man with the hornography, then you're not really seeing a production of Music Man. Here we go. The 76 trombones hit the counterpoint, while 110 cornets blazed away. To the rhythm of hearts, 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 all the kids began to march, and they're marching still right today. There we go. Oh my gosh, that's a track we've never really attempted, and I'm glad we made it through together. You know, you have to have some horns if you're going to do the Music Man, so we had to bring in that track with the horns. If you want to see that number done the right way, get down to the Music Man production at the Winter Garden on Broadway, literally on Broadway. And they announced that Hugh and Sutton are going to stay on for a little bit longer, so there is some more time to go see a Broadway show. We are entering the holiday season when Broadway shows sell out, but then right after, folks, this is when I encourage everyone to go see a Broadway show, starting January 3rd, because January 3rd, all the way to spring break, that is the slow season. So if you're thinking about getting someone a gift for Christmas, for the holidays, get them a ticket to a Broadway show in that winter alley when it's so cold outside. And really, we just want to be inside in a warm place, and why not do it in a theater? That's the time to go see a show. You know, if you want to know about the current state of Broadway, let me just give you a little window into what's going on. Britney Spears, you may have heard of Britney Spears. There will now be concurrently on Broadway 2 shows featuring the hits of Britney Spears. I couldn't make this up. I kind of think this is unbelievable. But if you know that song, her very first song, everyone knows this, Baby One More Time, there will be 2 shows, including one that's named after that song. This is what's happening on Broadway, folks. I'm just delivering the news. I'm not doing the scheduling. I'm just delivering the news. The thing that I'm excited to see is, and if you saw the Thanksgiving Day parade, the Macy's parade on Thanksgiving weekend, they had a performance from the new Neil Diamond show. It's called A Beautiful Noise, which is a beautiful song by him. And I can't wait to sit in the audience and raise up my hand and sing along to Sweet Caroline. I just can't. I just think that sounds like so much fun. So these are just some things that are coming up. So, you know, get your ticket buying fingers ready. Please take a sip. Is Albert still with us, or did he go back to the racetrack? Albert is on some sort of it's like a birthday celebration weekend where they're racing dump trucks or Subarus or something. I really have no idea, but clearly his presence was needed, or else he would be here with me and with all of you. So now that we've discussed all of the Britney Spears of it all, let's go back to something traditional. Let's go back to the golden age. This is from Brigadoon, which I keep hoping someone will find a way to bring this back, because it's such a beautiful show. And last time it was done in New York was at City Center where they do these kind of fundraisers. And if you know the plot of Brigadoon, it's about a village in Scotland that appears every 100 years and then it disappears, right? So it's there for a little bit and then it goes off into the mist, and you can't see it again for 100 years. And I'll never forget the final stage picture when Brigadoon starts to disappear. They brought in a scrim, and somehow with some lighting trick, they really did make the entire set somehow disappear in front of your eyes. There was no smoke, there was no stage fog. It was all a trick of lighting, but it was an unbelievable and yet simple effect. It was so beautiful. I think of that all the time when I think of Brigadoon. So let's sing this one together, shall we? I think you know it. This is Almost Like Being in Love from Brigadoon. Maybe the sun gave me the power, for I could swim Loch Lomond and be home in half an hour. Maybe the air gave me the drive, for I'm all aglow and alive. What a day this has been, what a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for the whole human race. Why, it's almost like being in love. All the music of life seems to be like a bell that is ringing for me. And from the way that I feel when that bell starts to peal, I could swear I was falling. I would swear I was falling. It's almost like being in love. When we walked up the brae, not a word did we say. It was almost like being in love. But your arm linked in mine made the world kind of fine. It was almost like being in love. All the music of life seems to be like a bell that is ringing for me. And from the way that I feel when that bell starts to peal, I would swear I was falling. I would swear I was falling. It's almost like being in love. Hey, I do love that song, and I do love that show. I grew up listening to for some reason I grew up listening to that song. And I think actually the first place I heard it, Nat King Cole's daughter, Natalie Cole, was known for making pop music in the 80s, and she had a great career. And then kind of later on, I think it was late 80s, she put out, I think she'd always resisted doing her father's music. Understandably, right? She's talent in her own right. She doesn't want to lean on her father's reputation or on his oeuvre. But then she finally did it. She finally released this song and a whole album in the late 80s called Unforgettable. And they even found a way for her to do a duet with her father. They did kind of a virtual thing. And it changed her career for the better. She found an even wider audience for her music after she did that. People just have such a fondness for Nat King Cole. And, she did a beautiful job with this music. She made her own thing out of it. She put her own stamp on it. And what a tremendous album. You've got to hear it. And this song is on there. And all sorts of great music is on that album, Unforgettable. And then she went on to do a lot of jazz since then. So when you see her now, you don't know if you're going to get the pop or the jazz, because she does them both, and she does them both so well. So that was probably the first place I heard that song. Like I said at the beginning, I'm finally recovered from my post-Thanksgiving coma. Let me just tell you, I'm that person. Some people can leave or take Thanksgiving. I'm not that person. I'm the person that I want Thanksgiving like every week. I want the food, I want the stuffing, I want the turkey, I want all of the different things that come with Thanksgiving. I don't want it once a year. I want it all the time. So I did have 3 Thanksgivings because I can't get enough. The first Thanksgiving, I went out to a restaurant with my mother, who I think is on the Zoom somewhere. She's a loyal Sip and Sing viewer. Thank you, Mom. We went out, which I do recommend going out for Thanksgiving. It's really great. No one has to do the dishes. No one has to clean up the pots and pans. It's fabulous. The only problem with going out for Thanksgiving is that you do not get any leftovers. Now, this is a big problem for Thanksgiving, right? You want the leftovers. So there I was the next day, needed another Thanksgiving. So I hopped over to the Trader Joe's, bought some different things, kind of made a semi-homemade. Day after Thanksgiving, it was like the leftovers, except we kind of made them fresh. Okay, so that was fantastic. That was Thanksgiving number 2. Then I decided I wanted what people call a Friendsgiving. Have you ever had a Friendsgiving? If you've had a Friendsgiving, let us know in the chat. A Friendsgiving is kind of a Thanksgiving, but for you and your friends, right? It's so nice to do it with your family, but what about your friends that you want to sit down and enjoy that food with and have a good time? So we did this Friendsgiving Sunday where I made Thanksgiving number 3. If you're going to do it, get a turkey breast, no bone. You brush some butter on there, put it in. It's so easy. I got the sides from Whole Foods. Let me tell you, Thanksgiving number 3 was fantastic. So I had 3. There's probably still some leftovers in the fridge, and I'm thrilled about it. So when I really tell you that I was in a coma, I'm not exaggerating. A coma was involved because I ate 3 whole Thanksgivings. We've been talking a lot about Fiddler on the Roof because Fiddler on the Roof is back off Broadway in this fantastic, Yiddish language production, the first time it's ever been done that way in the US. So I just can't stop thinking about Fiddler. And it's such a family show, and we had such a family week. Let's do a little bit of Fiddler on the Roof. This is Matchmaker, Matchmaker, Make Me a Match from Fiddler on the Roof. Here we go. And I know you know it. Sing it with me. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find, catch me a catch. Matchmaker, matchmaker, look through your book and make me a perfect match. Matchmaker, matchmaker, I'll bring the veil. You bring the groom, slender and pale. Bring me a ring, for I'm longing to be the envy of all I see. For Papa, make him a scholar. For Mama, make him rich as a king. For me, well, I wouldn't holler if he were as handsome as anything. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find, catch me a catch. Night after night, in the dark I'm alone, so find me a match of my own. Love an interlude. Please. Oh wait, no, here it is. Still in the interlude. Matchmaker, matchmaker, you know that I'm still very young. Please take your time. Up to this minute, I misunderstood that I could get stuck for good. Dear Yenta, see that he's gentle. Remember, you were also a bride. It's not that I'm sentimental. It's just that I'm terrified. Matchmaker, matchmaker, plan me no plans. I'm in no rush. Maybe I've learned playing with matches, a girl can get burned. So bring me no ring, groom me no groom, find me no find, catch me no catch, unless he's a matchless match. Oh my gosh. You know, it really is, I mean, for those of us on the production end, it's one of the best things about Sip and Sing is I get to sing all the gender inappropriate songs I wish. I'll never be cast as one of Tevye's daughters, but we get to sing Matchmaker together. Isn't that lovely? Cheers to all of you. Thank you for singing along. I see a really lovely group here. I can see some of it. Let me take a look at the chat. Love her album and the one that followed. That's right. See, we're talking about Natalie Cole, and she did do that album and then another jazz album. Go look it up, especially that first one. It's fantastic. Chris and Jean, hello. It's good to see you. And your son Daniel has been doing Friendsgiving for years. I think it is a great idea, but really only because I want to eat the food a second time. I mean, really, I could do it by myself. I don't need my friends to be there. We can call it whatever we like, as long as there's more turkey and stuffing for me. But I'm so glad. Oh, and look, someone saw that City Center production of Brigadoon. Audrey, I'm so glad that you saw that. It really was great. I have no idea why they haven't found a way to bring that back to Broadway. So, maybe one of these days, So what's next is some Sondheim. It's one of those Sondheim numbers that people know and that is fun to sing. It's been a year since we lost Stephen Sondheim, so there's been a lot of Sondheim in the news. There's a lot of Sondheim on Broadway. There's a lot of Sondheim in New York. They're doing this production of Merrily We Roll Along downtown at the New York Theater Workshop. It's one of those Sondheim shows that never quite worked, and let me tell you why. It's a show that goes backwards, and by that I mean we start at the beginning of this show, if you don't know it, and we're seeing the characters as they've ended up in middle age, three friends, they're fighting, they're not happy with each other, and you don't really understand why. And then the show proceeds to go back in time. And then we gradually, over the course of the show, see how the relationships ended up this way. And by the end of the show, it ends with the scene of them all meeting, these characters that you spent all night with. So you've now ended the show at the beginning of their story, really. It's really lovely to talk about, and I think even describing it kind of sounds enticing, right? It's a hard show to make work. They've been trying for 40 years to try and make this show work, and it's a tough one. But as Audrey says here in the chat, it is one of the best Sondheim scores. So if you're curious, it is playing in New York now, and it's got a great cast. And there is this fantastic documentary called The Best Worst Thing That Could Have Happened. It's a lyric from the show, and it tells the story of the original failed production of Merrily We Roll Along, that it was all played by kids. So they decided to cast the show with kids who were the age of the characters at the end, and then they had them play all the different ages throughout. A wild and daring concept that didn't quite work, but this documentary gives you a real bird's eye view of how it all came together and what happened to all those actors involved. And it's really a lovely documentary. I know it's streaming somewhere, so go look it up. The Best Worst Thing That Ever Could Have Happened about Merrily We Roll Along. This song is not from Merrily. It is from A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. I just love the wordplay in this number, so sing it with me. I think you know it. This is Comedy Tonight. Something familiar, something peculiar, something for everyone, a comedy tonight. Something appealing, something appalling, something for everyone, a comedy tonight. Nothing with kings, nothing with crowns. Bring on the lovers, liars, and clowns. Old situations, new complications. Nothing portentous or polite. Tragedy tomorrow, comedy tonight. Something convulsive, something repulsive, something for everyone, a comedy tonight. Something aesthetic, something frenetic, something for everyone, a comedy tonight. Nothing with gods, nothing with fate. Weighty affairs will just have to wait. Nothing that's formal, nothing that's normal. No recitations to recite. Open up the curtain. Comedy tonight. I mean, it's not very representative. There we go. It's not very representative necessarily of the Stephen Sondheim, there's that word again, oeuvre. But I just think that song is so much fun. So looking at the chat, Audrey is right. The most famous person in that original cast of Merrily We Roll Along on Broadway, which was before any of them were famous. They were like teenagers or early 20s, and it was Jason Alexander. And he indeed is in the documentary, so I do recommend it. And hello, Vermont and North Carolina. We've got so many folks here. I love seeing this. Thank you for joining us. We are coming to the end of our program for Friday. The good news is we have 2 more installments of Sip and Sing before we take our little holiday break, or maybe even spring break. I'm not sure when we're coming back. Robin in Dallas, hello, good to see you. Welcome to Texas. And Tobias from Germany, love to see you in Germany. We're making it international, folks. We have 2 more before the holidays, so make sure you tune in. Next week, we will have our full Broadway program, and then the following Friday, holiday extravaganza. We'll be doing all your favorite holiday songs. If you've got one that you want to hear, that you want to make sure that we sing, because everyone's got a favorite holiday tune, please, email us. I think the email at one point was on the Bay Street website. So, look me up on Instagram. You can go to the Bay Street website and send them an email. Let them know. Tell me what you want to sing along to for the holiday show, because we've got you covered. It's kind of my favorite show. I know we're all about Broadway here. We're all about Broadway, but I think I love the holiday show because everyone knows all the songs. So I know that everyone's gonna be singing along, and it's just Christmas and the holidays. It's meant for a sing along. So I'm looking forward to it. That's 2 weeks from now. We will definitely be back next week. I thought we'd finish up with one of the songs that we do a lot here, because I know we all know it. We did it at our Sip and Sing Live, and it got a great response. And I can't tell you how fun it was to be up on the stage of Bay Street and to be singing this number, and having so many folks in the audience singing along too, and just having the greatest time. So it gives me fond memories of that live performance, and I hope you enjoy this. This is our last number for the week. This is Cabaret, of course, from the Broadway show Cabaret. I think it's destined to come back to Broadway very shortly. I really do think that London production is going to come on over, so look out. What good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book, and the broom. It's time for a holiday. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Come taste the wine. Come hear the band. Come blow a horn. Start celebrating. Right this way, your table's waiting. What good's permitting some prophet of doom to wipe every smile away? Life is a cabaret, old chum. So come to the cabaret. I used to have a girlfriend known as Elsie, with whom I shared 4 sordid rooms in Chelsea. She wasn't what you'd call a blushing flower. As a matter of fact, she rented by the hour. The day she died, the neighbors came to snicker. Well, that's what comes from too much pills and liquor. But when I saw her laid out like a queen, she was the happiest corpse I'd ever seen. I think of Elsie to this very day. I remember how she turned to me and say, what good is singing alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book, and the broom. There's an extra lyric there. It's time for a holiday. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. And as for me, I made my mind up back in Chelsea. When I go, I'm going like Elsie, when I go, I'm going like Elsie. Got right back on track. Start by admitting from cradle to tomb. It isn't that long a stay. Life is a cabaret, old chum. It's only a cabaret, old chum. And I love a cabaret. There it is. We do love that number. There's the applause. Okay, so listen, there are reasons why we have a technical director here usually, and there's a reason why I shouldn't be running the show. But thank you for bearing with all of us. We always have such a good time. Look, Robin in Dallas Fort Worth had more fun here with us than sitting alone in her room. Emma wants another live sip and sing. You're gonna have to talk to Bay Street Theater about that. But thank you for joining us. We love doing this with you. So we'll see you next week, and then we'll see you in 2 weeks for the holiday extravaganza. This is Dial Kyle from Sip and Sing Studios. We are signing out. We'll see you next week.